Welcome to another episode of What If Civilization Started Over, episode 28, and today we will take a look at a few developments in Asia, and as well a war that will happen with Lavender and Mint, a war that Mint is not prepared for at all, and we see maybe a downfall of another country after Red and Lavender made the World Destroyer Alliance. After developing their country, Pastel Orange is prepared to venture to the east, and they have a couple of expeditions ready to do so. As we see a small expedition work in the north, they gain a little bit of land. Even a smaller one a little bit more southwards, and another one, a really small one, near Lavender, but one was really successful in the middle of their country. They gain a lot of land because of that, and they are turned to be out a really weird shape. But cartographers quickly figure out that they have a lot of more land to just claim that was for no one to get. Here as well, and here. And after a while, a few settlements are popping up in new areas. They are even expanding in their farthest away part of their country, as they see many potential right here. They go a little bit southwards, more north, even more east. They like it a lot. But they are not the only country to expand, as Neon Lime now sees an opportunity to do so themselves after, well, losing a lot. They go alongside the border of Pastel Orange and then just they go. And eventually, after a long way of walking in a particular line, they barely miss this tip of the lake and then stumble upon the lake right here, and eventually see that it's pretty long. They see their old tracks, and they follow it along the whole coast. And they quickly, well, set up this area. Their expeditions are successful now that they really want to seek for new land. The path towards this new part of Neon Lime is getting bigger as well, and they are really happy with what they found for now. And then we see a really successful expedition here with Deep Wine, really close to their capital. We see them expand greatly here. Also against Neon Lime. A little bit here, and a little bit more in the north. Here with Pastel Orange, they go up with a great group after that this area is more set it up. They go north and try to find new land from there, maybe an interesting place. And then they meet right up with Neon Lime, with a whole new group, and they are expanding against it. And eventually both kings get to know that they are finding each other again far away. There are also two settlements now that are working with each other, and they quickly just figure out that what they developed right here can work together. And it's Jade Green. Jade Green is a new country now that joins the world, with allies, with Pastel Orange and Neon Lime, and after they have joined, they also expanded, and this is how much land they gained together, what Deep Wine and Neon Lime were able to get. They expand now pretty greatly. Jade Green even goes a little bit more north, but then decides to go back south to expand a little more eastwards, as they know there is much to gain there. But they of course gain land around themselves too, and they go as far as this. Also, Pastel Orange makes their last expedition like this, and now these three countries, well, four actually, are done with expanding for now, as they see that they have to establish before going further south. After preparing enough for this war, Lavender is ready to attack Mint. After the Lavender War, they are hoping that Mint doesn't see this coming, and a lot of red forcers are ready to attack as well. The first attack begins right here, where they agreed upon to never, well, take land again. They did not really say never, but now they do. Lavender attacks Mint, and they quickly gain a settlement, and they go far down, as they are unstoppable for the, well, not many forces here, but eventually they come to these two settlements, and this is where the main army was set up. Because Mint wasn't that dumb, and they of course fight back with the troops they have. But Lavender of course also attacks them here in the south and gain a new settlement because of that. And they quickly go up north to fight off as many troops and civilians there is that want to fight back. And the battle with this settlement begins. And it turns out to be one of the bloodiest and just rough battles of the whole history of this world. They almost get half of the settlement and they want to encircle them in. The troops arrive, luckily in time, and they free the settlement for now. As Lavender goes to the sea and cross this little sea towards this settlement they know exists, and they capture it immediately. Troops were too late to respond, but they do respond. But they are too weak and they are killed off immediately. And Lavender is attacking from multiple fronts right now, because also here they are fighting and they gain another settlement. As we know, they are the strongest country in the world, working with the second most strongest country. They are unstoppable. But Red is not really supplying them with troops right now, as they are doing their own plan right now. Red sailed so far that they land their boats right here. They have sailed from Madagascar to Indonesia because they know the rough route Lavender takes from mainland Africa towards Indonesia. They just did go a little bit more south and they are now attacking Mint. And Mint is just completely cut off guard by Red that is fighting. Mint quickly goes to Slade to say, help me, I'm getting attacked by Lavender, but also by Red, who you fought on Madagascar. Slade doesn't reply and is just not doing anything. Red is quickly going through a lot of land from the Mints, and they completely cut this island off with any communication with this settlement, and they get it. But there of course is this island right here, and they are trying to get on that island. And they succeed a landing, but they are immediately kicked out. It's a hard island to attack right now, and they even get a little bit more land on this coast, right here and right here. But Red sees an opportunity to get the southernmost part of Mint, and they get it all. And they think this is also a part of Mint, until they reach the Slade border, and they just back up and return. They are together now fighting with Lavender to take the rest of this island. Lavender succeeds in quite a bit, but is struggling here with the settlement. But Red is coming their way and is sweeping across and gains the settlement. And the islands nearby are quickly gained by Red as well. And the last ones by Lavender too. Then Lavender sets sail and goes to the island, and together with Red they follow this island and they together capture that part of Mint. The last troops are getting killed by Red, and then Mint is completely gone in the south and they are just here in the north. Mint is desperate to seek help by Slade. They again send a message, but no one replied. Slade never replies again to Mint as they see what is happening. They are busy with their own stuff. They are expanding their lands on islands they seek and find. Also here in mainland China they are expanding even more. It's harsh. It's cold-blooded, but Slade never replies. Red also goes up with their boats and land their boats near the southernmost settlement. They know Lavender is pretty close by, and they gain the settlement right here, and they just go up north again and they meet up with the front of Red, and together they gain this settlement. And then Red goes up and claims the rest. Lavender then just follows the coast and gains another settlement. And the Mint troops are nowhere eventually to be found. They are holding back the Lavenders up north, but they know they are in the south with Red. Red slowly creeps up and closes this off, and then they get the Mints by surprise from behind, and they get the first settlement of this, well, bloody part of the war right here, the bloody front. Lavender is now able to fight back the troops and claims the rest. Mint is completely getting defeated, and then there are just 2 settlements left, and Mint surrenders. They don't want to be annexed completely. They don't want to be wiped off the maps. But Lavender is not listening. They take another settlement and they completely make the coast a front. They go even more inland every other week. Red is also not listening and gains more land that they can take for the Lavenders. As they see they are both so strong and efficient, they are not able to be stopped. Mint is just one settlement left, with many land with just undeveloped towns. And then when Mint thinks they are still able to thrive and fight back, Slade lands their boats near the settlement and takes it right under their nose. Slade defeats the last settlement of Mint, and then they get as much land as they want before the troops arrive. They know Lavender is coming, and when Lavender is there, they see the troops of Slade. They don't interact with them and just are claiming to get the most out of this. It's a race right now. And then they have taken Mint completely. Well, not yet. There's a small island left with just, well, 200 people of Mint. Even 2 governors from a settlement, not a complete governor of a part of Mint, fled to this island. And they think they are peaceful right here to maybe return someday. But Slade is not blind, as they come across the island and they completely kill everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody. Mint is defeated, and there is no peace treaty with Mint. It's just what is going to happen with the land of Mint. Mint is completely gone, and Lavender will take this much land from them. They even take this small settlement right there with the surrounding islands. Slade was able to, well, talk with the Lavenders that they want this whole slither of land with the island right there. They also, well, closed the border before, well, Lavender was going to take that, but then they received the news that Lavender is not taking this part right here, but Red is taking it. All this is taken by Red. And they even get, by Lavender, this slither of land, and they now have 3 colonies in the world. And now that they have this, well, important part in Madagascar, Lavender and Red are working together close to home. It's a really early empire, but they are working together. And Lavender and Red are talking to one another and seeing an opportunity for their plan to grow even more. And they nod to each other, and they send a letter to another country. They open the letter and they approve it. Slade is joining their alliance. As Lavender knows, Slade can be a really, really great power for us to work against Mesopotamia. There is where the interests are lying now for Lavender. They want to take over every country here. They want to be the power of this peninsula almost. But that's enough for now, as they are closing this war, and these 3 are just gaining even more power. And now we will shortly take a look at these 3 countries: dark yellow, dark orange and dark green, the triple darks. And all of the 3 countries are pretty much at their maximum height for expanding. All these 3, well, except for maybe dark yellow, are done for expanding, as they are developing inside their own borders and see not really interest in the desert that's closely here. Of course, here's the Sahara Desert, so here's not really yet, but they don't really have interest in going further into the Sahara, in the desert. But all the countries, all these 3, have something in common. People who do want to go up, who do want to go inside the desert. And eventually these 3 groups know of each other, and they are trying to seek each other right at this tip. Right here, they want to find each other. And they want to establish a new country, their own nation. And so a small group begins their expedition to seek new land for them to take. Baby Blue is the group called. They of course are also a nation, but they are closely venturing alongside the borders of all these countries. After many years, they already have 2 settlements. And they made their first one their capital. They go and they go, and they are stretching pretty far from west to east. And yeah, now the countries below them know they exist. but they don't really do anything about it. Other than dark yellow, as they are now taking land besides red before, well, baby blue gets there. And they expand some more up to the north. And they go as far as this. And baby blue gets just a little bit more. And a little bit more here with dark green. And they eventually link up with their whole border. And it's a pretty long country. But they are happy with what they got and they want to expand more in the future. They have a couple of cities that are starting to pop up. And they are growing. And they want to establish more and more in the future. The last thing to look at today is this. Remember what happened here with Olive, what that was happening with Lavender too? All these men were killed and no one was going back. Lavender thought Olive was the, well, problem. So eventually they and Red were going to seek some information and answers about this island. 2 boats from Lavender, 2 boats from Red were all going to this island. Eventually boats landed right here and the Reds were there to just take it all. The blue part was taken over in a matter of a night, together with the purple part that was just invaded too by the Reds. And the purples eventually got the knowledge that they were attacked by Red on the island, but they were scared of just attacking back. So for now they were not doing anything. As eventually Red left the island so that Lavender could take it. And now they had a very good strategic point to spy on Olive. What they were trying to do, as they really want to infiltrate the country, the whole country, to be more here in Mesopotamia, closer to dark blue. And yes, they could sail right here to their capital, but they know that purple will not allow that. Purple is like really present right here, so they don't see that as a valuable option. And now they have the island. Olive is closer and closer to be infiltrated by the world destroyers.